Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
New information tonight about the bicyclist who was killed after colliding with a train in downtown Carlsbad last night. Good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson.
And I'm Lindsay Pena in for Kimberly Hunt. Tonight, we're learning more about the man who died. 10 News reporter Matt Boone is live where it happened. And Matt, this crossing has been the site of tragedy before.
Lindsay, Steve, it is a busy pedestrian and vehicle area out here. Lots of bars and restaurants in the area. And now there are bells and these arms that come down warning people of approaching trains, but it's still very easy to get close to the tracks.
The coroner has identified the man as 37-year-old Jason Holzinger. Investigators say he was riding his bicycle on the sidewalk when he came to the intersection where the train tracks cross Grand Avenue in downtown Carlsbad. According to the coroner's report, despite the crossing arm being fully lowered, he rode around it, colliding with the side of the train. The medical examiner ruled it an accident. The safety of this rail crossing, however, has been called into question in the past. In 2017, the family of Patrick Taryn filed a lawsuit against the BNSF Railway and the city of Carlsbad, which they argued had negligently, carelessly, and wrongfully failed to properly warn persons crossing the railroad tracks. Taryn was killed in 2014 after a night of bar hopping with his sister and friends. He had crossed under the bar before it had come all the way down, while the rest of the group waited behind. Despite standing several feet off the tracks, he was struck and killed. The family's lawyer pointed out the crossing arms only come down on the side with oncoming traffic, and that there's no paint or markings on the other side that would show a pedestrian where to stand that is a safe distance away.
Now, the city and Sandag have been looking at ways to make this area of tracks safer. Right now, the option that they're considering is digging a trench through this part of the city. However, that plan would cost well over $300 million to construct. Reporting live tonight in Carlsbad, Matt Boone, 10 News.
Thank you, Matt. And this tragedy happened just 2 days after Operation Clear Track, meant to raise awareness about railroad safety. It was hosted by Carlsbad Police, Amtrak Police, and Operation Lifesaver. Operation Clear Track is the largest rail safety law enforcement initiative in the U.S. It coincides with Rail Safety Week, which runs from September 22nd through the 28th.
Flames came dangerously close to a business complex in Carlsbad this afternoon, forcing evacuations. Fire crews responded to calls about a brush fire along Miramar Airport Road. This was just after 11 o'clock this morning. Crews, though, immediately upgraded it to a second alarm when they got to the scene, and employees in a nearby building were evacuated while crews doused those flames. About 4 acres were burned. Officials say they are still investigating what caused the fire.
Some of the most influential members of the Latino community are gathered in San Diego this weekend. They come from the world of business, entertainment, and politics, even a presidential candidate. 10 News reporter Jeff Lasky is downtown with how an important part of the American economy is overcoming the challenges to find new opportunities.
Now it's time for the party and some networking after a long day filled with panels featuring some big names. They say the whole point of this conference is empowerment, both economically and politically.
It's super inspirational. It's helped my business out in mentoring and partnering and aligned with other business professionals.
In just 5 years, Angie Henry has grown her real estate brokerage to include 25 employees in San Diego and Riverside counties. She says she couldn't have done it without things she's learned at conferences like Latitude. The chance to meet and share with other similar business people has helped her get past the roadblocks she frequently found in her path.
Being just of Mexican descent, you always have that stigma of, that we're takers and not givers. And honestly, we're not.
I think one of the things the Latino community is suffering from is misperceptions, right? There's a branding issue that exists right now within the Latino community.
Gary Acosta helped found Latitude to combat those misperceptions. He says the Latino community is the fastest growing economic power in the country. This weekend, big names in business, entertainment, and politics will hold panels, discussions, and even dancing at the Grand Hyatt downtown. Presidential candidate Julian Castro is one headliner.
It's great to be here in San Diego.
Acosta says more than 5,000 people will attend the conference, up 30% from last year. And he told me San Diego will likely become Latitude's permanent home.
Everywhere in the country probably can use a little bit more Latino flavor, but San Diego is one of the places that I think celebrates that the most.
Downtown, Jeff Lasky, 10 News.
As we mentioned, Democratic presidential candidate Julian Castro was at the Latitude convention today. We caught up with Castro after his appearance. Now, he called San Diego a community that represents the future. We asked him his thoughts on housing and homelessness. He claims that he has an ambitious plan for that.
I put out a housing plan that would create 3 million more units of housing for the middle class, the working poor, and the poor. And my plan would end homelessness in the United States by 2028.
The former mayor of San Antonio is headed back to Texas tomorrow to speak at a political festival in Austin.
Now to the latest on the impeachment inquiry into President Trump. House Democrats have issued the first subpoenas in the investigation, which include one for Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. As ABC's Rachel Scott reports, the U.S. Special Envoy for Ukraine, who was also called to testify, has resigned.
A rattled Washington still reeling from the whistleblower complaint that's now triggered an impeachment inquiry into President Trump.
The president has engaged in serious acts of wrongdoing.
The House Intelligence Committee issuing subpoenas on Friday for Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, as well as 5 other State Department officials, including U.S. Special Envoy for Ukraine Kurt Volker, who ABC News confirms has just resigned. As House Democrats map out a potential path toward impeachment,
this is a cover-up.
President Trump spent the day with his top aides, carving out a strategy for that upcoming battle. Some Republicans in Congress coming to his defense, taking issue with the whistleblower's credibility.
The fact is that he was unwitnessed anything.
According to the White House transcripts of that call, the president repeatedly urged the Ukrainian president to investigate his potential 2020 rival Joe Biden and his son. And just yesterday, the nation's top intelligence official in the hot seat, facing tough questions from lawmakers on the handling of that complaint.
This appears to be the first intelligence community whistleblower complaint that has ever been withheld from Congress.
It is, in fact, as far as I'm concerned, unprecedented.
The whistleblower said several White House officials were deeply disturbed by the call, raising concerns they had witnessed the president abuse his office for personal gain. And now we've learned that the intelligence community's Inspector General Michael Atkinson will meet with the House Intelligence Committee next Friday. He was the one who conducted the preliminary investigation and determined the whistleblower's complaint was credible. Also, Democrats leading the investigation say they will work throughout the 2-week recess to issue more subpoenas and request documents and testimony. Rachel Scott, ABC News, Washington.
All right, new tonight, the hand gesture for okay is no longer okay, and bold cuts now have a new meaning. The Anti-Defamation League says the okay hand gesture has been co-opted by the alt-right and white supremacy groups to mean white power. And the picture of a bold cut is now part of white supremacist imagery because of the Charleston church shooter, mass shooter that is, Dylan Roof, who had that same haircut. The ADL says it uses its database of hate symbols to train local police departments and help the public identify signs of hate. And a powerful show in the sky above San Diego as the Blue Angels kicked off the Miramar Air Show this morning. This year's theme, a salute to first responders. And our 10 News anchor Kimberly Hunt has the highlights, including a new act from across the pond.
The 2019 Miramar Air Show is officially underway. This is the largest military air show in the country, and this year is a tribute to our first responders. Miramar opens the flight lines to the city of San Diego, the surrounding area, and people from all over the world. Opening ceremonies began with the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing Band and a flyby from the Army's Golden Knights parachute team. This team is renowned for its aerial acrobatics, from cutting a parachute and flying the American flag at 12,000 feet. But low cloud cover stopped the jumps today. Cloudy skies weren't enough to stop the Blue Angels from dominating the air above Miramar. The stars of the show have been performing since the 1940s. Their performance exemplifies the true meaning of teamwork. We all know the Blue Angels are impressive, but there are other stars here as well, such as the F-16 Viper demonstration, flying at twice the speed of sound. Its precision aerial maneuvers illustrate the might of the U.S. Armed Forces. And they may not be military, but they share their grit and elite capabilities. The Red Bull team is known around the world for their wild stunts. After the parachutists jump out, the real show begins. The helicopter performing moves only possible by a few pilots in a tricked-out helo designed to withstand the acrobatics. And this year, the Royal Air Force's Red Arrows is making a rare stop in the U.S. The beautiful red, white, and blue smoke is a crowd pleaser. They're here from across the pond to show off their Diamond 9-shaped formation. They've been displaying this around the world, and it's a treat for San Diegans. They haven't been stateside in over a decade. That's just a slice of everything you can do with the Miramar Air Show. Come check it out tomorrow and Sunday.
And the gates to the air show, they open tomorrow and Sunday, as Kim mentioned, at 8 in the morning. Opening ceremonies begin at 11:10, featuring the Army's Golden Knights and the Navy Leapfrogs parachute teams. The Blue Angels take flight at 3:20.
Well, time to check in on weather. Jennifer De La Cruz here today to tell us a little bit about what people should expect at the air show.
Well, we do have rain in the forecast, but it's not going to be too bad. You can certainly still go out and enjoy the show. We do have a chance for rain. It's going to be building overnight. Light showers, though, mainly dry through the early afternoon hours and then picking up once again as we get past 5 o'clock into 7 o'clock. For tomorrow, up to about a 40% chance of rain, but we're not anticipating anything heavy here, so good news there. As far as our temperatures go, it's actually going to be pretty comfortable. Into the 60s through about noon. You may need a jacket if you are heading out there early. Mostly cloudy skies through the afternoon, though. About 70 degrees by 2 p.m., and it's going to top off there, so overall temperatures will be pretty comfortable for tomorrow. 60s at the coastline, low 70s for the inland valleys, well below where we should be for this time of year. 71 in Ramona and 71 in Alpine for tomorrow. I'm tracking how long that rain is sticking around coming up in your 7-day forecast.